Well, hello YouTube, and a warm welcome to the Essentially Crypto channel. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm your host. And today we're going to look at whether or not the Metaverse preview is going to pump the Ecomi price. I can pretty much tell you what my views are on that, and that is no is the answer, and I'll tell you a little bit why later on in the video. But before we do, let's go over to the main screen so we can see what's going on in the in my little world of crypto and NFTs and all that kind of good stuff today. So let me see what's happening here. Come down, there we go, that's it, get my screen down. And first thing up is Ninja Boy. I was talking about it the other day. This is Rory Miller. He's one of the long-time followers of the channel, that kind of thing. He's come out of his own project, Ninja Boy. It's not only just front covers, by the way. There's also a reader as well for the comic itself, so you get to read the comic. It is the first version of this. There's 10,000 unique covers minting on Ethereum. It launched on Sunday, the 25th of September. Quite a lot of them are sold out, but you can, or sold, but you can still mint them. So, therefore, if you want to find out how to mint them, then follow the details in the comments below or the description below, and you can go and mint one of those still if you want to. They're looking pretty cool. I've got one myself. As I said, they did give me one as a thank you for shouting them out and everything, but I sort of told you wrong the other day because I said you could probably only get them on OpenSea, but you can actually still mint them from the website itself and get yourself one with your MetaMask account. So therefore, go and do that and get yourself a Ninja Boy comic. Next up is this, and that is a lot of people when advertising, or when, you know, when pretty much is what they're saying, but when advertising will be now, I guess. Marvel Insider here is launching a new month of giveaways. Enter now for your chance to win the Red Skull digital collectible from Veve. So that's absolutely brilliant. Marvel itself are actually advertising essentially you know, one of these characters that you can win. So, you know, what's more, more advertising than that, essentially, because they're essentially, you know, putting it out to all of their fan base, etc., etc. As you can see in that tweet, go and check it out from Marvel Entertainment itself. So, therefore, when advertising, there it is. There's some of it, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. Next up is this. We've finally got the metadata. Yay! Now, what does it mean? Well, I guess you could say that it's great because it means that you can now actually search for your stuff on Immutable. You can actually search for it. You go to Immutable and you can check all the details. It's basically got the picture there. You can see what all the information is. The only thing that I think that people are still going to be a bit sort of fuddy about, I suppose, is the fact that there's no actual mint date available on there. There's the drop date, which is the date that the actual item dropped, but that's not necessarily the mint date, and that's the bit that everyone goes crazy over. Personally, to me, it doesn't really matter, but, you know, let me know in the comments whether you think it's a deal breaker for you. Whether they're going to put that on at a later date, I don't know, because essentially what happened when everything moved over to the Immutable blockchain, everything was minted on the same date. So therefore, essentially the Batman is no longer minted as a first thing on Ethereum. It was minted on GoChain. Now, that GoChain metadata, I believe, is going to be put into there, or essentially when the drop happened, I guess, that would be the metadata you've got there. So it's essentially the same thing, but, you know, people will still say, oh, you know, blah, 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 just like they said it's not real NFTs. Well, now you've got the user details to prove that the NFT is on the blockchain, and it is actually there. So, you know, what more can be said, I suppose, on that one? Check out the article anyway by Veve Digital Collectibles. Go to their Twitter or use the link in the comments below. Up next is this. Now, if you're watching this video now, probably the chances are this has already dropped. I don't know yet because it depends how long it takes to get this video out and, of course, when you're seeing it. But the 60 Years of Bond, which is really cool, they're bringing out 7 posters, I believe. Obviously, 007 makes sense, doesn't it? 7 different posters, and then there's an 8th one. If you hold all 7 of them, then it means that you get to basically get an airdrop of a secret rare. Which is a really cool way of doing it. It's a nice way of doing it to reward the holders. Although, does it really reward the holders, or does it just reward the flippers? Because they've announced when it's going to be. I can't remember when it was exactly, but whenever that is, that airdrop, they've told us when it's going to be, when the snapshot's taken. So what's to stop the people just buying them really quickly, waiting for the snapshot? As soon as the snapshot happens, just selling them all to get rid of them. But then, of course, the prices can go up and go down at the same time. So, you know, I guess either way, it's a similar idea, isn't it, really? It doesn't matter whether you buy them all just to get the reward, or whether or not you you flip them straight away, or whatever you want to do. But more people are likely to hold because of the fact that you've got that period, and therefore it means that the prices should, in theory, go up. So that's good for people who want to buy them. Maybe not so good for the collectors. Maybe wait until after the airdrop if you really want to get one, and then maybe buy the airdrop in the secondary market. But that might be too expensive because it is, after all, a secret rare. And how many people are actually going to hold the full set of 7? I believe it's 40 a set. So therefore, what you got? You got 4 times 7, 7, 14, 21, 28, $280, isn't it? $280, I believe. I could be wrong on that one, so yeah, if I've got the numbers wrong, then do bear with me. But around about $280 for the entire set, so that means that somebody's got to pay $280 just to get a secret rare. But then you could argue that if you have all those and then you get the secret rare, then you're doing good. Speaking of airdrops, you've got the Pride airdrop that's finally been announced as well. David did a little video on it the other day, and he basically said what it's going to be. I can't remember when the snapshot is. I believe it was the 15th of October, I want to say. That's just from memory though, so I could be wrong on that one, so make sure you check out Veve Official to find out. And there's a little video there. David explains exactly when that's going to be taken. Now, once again, it could be the same thing. As soon as that snapshot is taken, loads of people could get rid of their Pride straight away, maybe their Pride 2s, I don't know. I don't think many people get rid of their Prides, because that's something that it's a little bit low at the moment, but that one has the power to go quite high, I believe, especially with all the stuff they've been talking about where, Pride holders can get into specific like museums and stuff like that or art galleries, shall I say, not museums, don't know why I said that, mainly because museums have also decided they wanted to purchase some apparently, but can get into art galleries and they can get into special parties specifically for holding Pride. So there's a lot more utility coming, and I believe that Rewind Collective themselves and Amar are actually making more utility for it than Veve actually will, because Veve essentially doing the airdrop, but that all came from Rewind Collective, who actually put it out on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago. I did a video about it straight away to let you know about it. So to me, it's not news that it's coming. I knew it was coming, I just didn't know what date exactly. So now we know 15th of October is when the snapshot's taken, and you will get your thing. But anyway, back to this one here, and that is the 60th anniversary. It's really cool, all the posters. They're really, really nice. They're the old-style Bond ones, obviously. We start off with this one here, from Russia with Love. Now, the interesting thing is, it's in Italian, for a start. That's really interesting. But also, somebody pointed out on Twitter that you can actually get this on Quidd already. So, therefore, is it something to do with the copyright has expired and therefore they can put it out? But bear in mind that we do have James Bond as the thing on the app, and I think Quidd do as well, and that's the thing. A lot of people put out videos back in the day because basically they were worried about Quidd. And we'll talk about that in a second, actually, because... so, what I don't understand, though, with this is that this isn't actually an NFT, from what I can gather, but it's part of the Mintables series, so therefore you can mint it if you want to, which I don't really understand, because to me, if I've got a choice of minting an NFT or not minting it, then obviously I'm going to mint it. But maybe you have to pay extra for that or something. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain it to me in the comments below and let me know what the mintable side of this is. Now, obviously, it is only the one poster, whereas Veve are coming out with the others, even if they've got the others anyway. It's also slightly different. I believe there's a frame around it and they've made it into 3D, whereas this is literally just a picture. So you could argue that even though it's the same, it's completely different. And also you've got the utility with it by you get the 7, you get the secret rare as well. So, I don't think it's really a big issue that Quidd has got that. And to be honest, I'm personally more of a Veve fan than a Quidd fan. So therefore, I would buy it on Veve if I was going to buy it, which I probably won't be going for the drop today anyway, because I don't have the time today. But if I was going to, then maybe I would go for it on there rather than buying it on Quidd. But I see a load of people who've also said, hey, I bought it on Quidd first, because they see that as the first minted edition of it. So, but then it doesn't really matter. Is it going to be worth more? Is it going to be worth less? I don't know. Either way. Let me know in the comments what you think on that one, because I think that's quite an interesting one. So what are mintables? As I said, this is the weird thing, because it doesn't really say. This is on the website itself on Quidd. It says, what is a mintable? These are sets and items that can be minted at NFTs on the blockchain in the future, at the owner's discretion. So does that mean they're not available at the moment? This was updated just over a week ago. So therefore, is that a bit like Veve saying, oh, in the future, possibly you'll be able to take your NFTs off of the app, but not all of them? Or this is, you can take the mintables off, but not all are going to be mintable, only certain ones. So essentially, exactly what Veve said, basically. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. What does NFT stand for? We don't need to know that. Do I have to mint them? Absolutely not. It'll be completely up to you whether you choose to mint or not. So they're basically giving you the option to mint the digital collectible, is what they're calling it now as well. But when Veve call it a digital collectible, it is an NFT. Whereas Quidd are just saying they're digital collectibles because they're not NFTs, they're not on the blockchain, but certain ones can be, from what I can gather. I don't know, I haven't looked into Quidd massively, so anyone who is from Quidd or knows about Quidd, or if you've been watching any of the YouTuber videos from Veve YouTubers, then all of a sudden Veve YouTubers have started doing Quidd videos, so I'm sure there's somebody out there who will be able to explain to me a little bit better, and let me know in the comments, because I would love to know. But speaking of the Veve YouTubers, it's interesting, because I watched a video the other day, and I watched a video, it was Chris Coffey. He did an interview with the main guy from Quidd. And the first thing he talked about was the sort of the fight between Quidd and Veve. Because I don't know how many of you know this, how many of you are watching from way back, or whether you're watching, fairly new. But what happened was, Quidd sort of put something out on Twitter about Veve, or sort of inferring about Veve, and then there was kind of a little spat that went around because of saying back and forth. And basically Quidd CEO chap, I can't remember his name, but he said that that was something, that person is not in that position in the company anymore, apparently, so they're not part of the that side of it, I guess. And he said that, strictly speaking, it was Veve that fired the first shot, or Veve that fired the first punch, is what I've put here. That's why I put the boxing gloves. It was first shot, I believe, is what he said. Now, I don't really understand that he said that. And the reason I don't understand that, let me explain, is because from what I can gather, the reason Quidd said something about that is because Veve YouTubers themselves, when they first started, there was, I think Cavell Anderson did a video, I think... what's the name of that chap that does all the really cool artworks and stuff? I can't remember his name. Oh, Crypto Crayons. Crypto Crayons did a video on it, and that's what most people covered, from what I remember. And there was a few other people who covered Quidd a bit, because basically what was happening is that everyone was getting excited about Veve, and then somebody found Quidd and were like, whoa, wait a minute, they've got the same IPs, they've got the same stuff. And then they realised that the stuff that Quidd were producing wasn't quite as nice as some of the collectibles. Not all of it, there was other stuff that was better, but so they basically kind of trashed it in a way of saying, well, this is that and this is this, and sort of compared the two. Now, I understand that he said that there was some bad blood because of that, but that wasn't officially Veve that did that, because even though I talk about Veve, I am nothing to do with the company whatsoever. And in fact, none of the Veve YouTubers are affiliated with Veve in any way, shape or form. So to say that Veve fired the first shot and therefore Quidd was just retaliating, in my view, is a bit of a nonsensical approach, because that's a bit like me saying, I really hate Coke. And then someone from Pepsi, like the company Pepsi, actually contacting me on my account or whatever, or literally firing something back at Coke. So Pepsi then fires something back at Coke. So someone said that they hated Coke or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that, because the actual YouTubers that did it and the stuff that they were responding to wasn't actually, although it was aimed at them, it was nothing to do with Veve at all. So Veve really were a third party, like Switzerland. They were nothing to do with it. It just so happened that YouTubers were the ones who kind of started it, I suppose, and that's what Quidd were retaliating against. So I don't really understand what he said about that, and, I sort of take that one as a bit of a pinch of salt. But, let me know your comments in the box below. Let me know whether you think that's the case, or whether you think it was quite right, and, they should have said something on their Twitter or whatever, because... I remember following. I don't really remember what was said now. I did try and find it. Maybe they deleted it. I'm not sure. But there was a little spat that went back and forth. And he said in that video of Chris Coffey, he said, well, officially Veve started it, fired the first shot. And he said that, he said it with a smile on his face, but he kind of meant it. And he also took little passive-aggressive pot shots going all the way through the video about how they will never mislead their customers. They will always tell them if it's an NFT or not, and stuff like that. Like all the FUD, basically, that people have been talking about for Veve, he kind of put into his sentences when he was talking about how Quidd is different. So... read into it what you will, but I do find it absolutely hilarious that all of a sudden lots of Veve YouTubers are all of a sudden feigning interest in Quidd because of the fact that they've been offered, money to do a video for them, which, I understand. At the end of the day, I was offered the same money as well. I just chose not to answer or not to do it because, like I said, it's too close to Veve to me, and also, I wasn't really interested in it. So, but... it's up to you. If you go to the Quidd platform and you buy something from there and you enjoy it, then great. If you go to Veve and you enjoy it, then great. I'm literally Switzerland in this. I don't want to start anything, and I just wanted to sort of put my 2 cents in, I suppose, is the best way to explain it. Next up is this, the Veveverse. This is what we're talking about. Is the Veveverse going to pump the price of Omi? Now, I should clarify this, not the actual Veveverse itself. This is the Veveverse Demo that is supposedly coming out, although David did say, don't quote me on this, which is hilarious because we're about to quote him, coming out in, I believe it's Decon, the next Decon, which is Anaheim, I believe. I want to say that. I want to say Decon Anaheim. That's when he said is going to be the next one. Now, there's a brilliant YouTube video that somebody put up. I will leave it in the comments below because I can't remember who it was, but I know it was Metaverselyfe who was doing the talking and everything, you know, and he's the guy who does all the really cool videos where he sort of takes like Buzz Lightyear and throws it onto someone and it becomes a suit and they fly away and that kind of thing. So, Metaverselyfe on TikTok, I believe. Probably YouTube Shorts and all that kind of stuff as well. Probably got his own channel, I'm not sure. I'll try and link it in the comments below anyway, so you can go and see it if you haven't already, or at least his Twitter, so that way you can follow him. But he did the interview. It was on Twitter Spaces. David just jumped in. Apparently, it was just an impromptu type thing. And David talked a lot about what their plans were, essentially. And it was really bullish for the token, without a doubt. Really bullish for the token and really bullish for Veve, because the stuff he was saying how literally what other people have been saying anyway in other interviews and stuff, and what he's been saying in interviews himself, is that the NFTs are not the main product. They're not the be-all and end-all. It's just sort of a means to an end. And people will see, as the more things roll out, that it's not about the NFTs, really. It's about the bigger picture. And that's what I kind of like. That's why I'm into Veve in the first place. All the stuff, as soon as they said about the fact that they're going to put them in shops, then my mind went crazy for that. You know, there's certain things that they've said as we go along that my mind just sort of went like, wow, okay, this is going to be big. Rather than it being just, oh, they've got NFTs or they've got, you know, this. It's the things that they're bringing in. Now, I don't think the Veveverse is going to, or the Veveverse Demo is going to pump Omi, and I'll tell you why I don't think it's going to pump it. It may pump it a little bit, but it's not going to pump it as much as what some people think it will. And that is because I think people have a massive expectation of what they think the Veveverse is going to be versus what they actually get. And that is going to cause a lot of FUD, I believe, because what's going to happen is, you know, like with anything, when they say they're going to do something and then they do it, and then people go, well, that's not quite what I wanted. And then they go, oh, I'm selling, that's it, I'm out of here, you know, and you get the, you know, I'm in an airport departure and all that kind of thing. But I don't think it's going to pump the token, especially in the market that we're in at the moment. Now, that being said, if it was done in, you know, in the bull market when we were there before and they put the Veveverse out then, that would probably pump it quite a lot. Because, you know, like the things of Disney and all that. And there's another reason why it might not as well, because obviously as soon as it starts pumping, there'll be people who have been sitting on their bags for quite a while who are just not interested in being part of it anymore. They don't want to be part of it, and therefore they're going to dump straight away. So is it going to be a buy the rumour, sell the news? I don't think there's going to be a rumour. I think it's literally just going to be a sell the news if people start deciding as soon as the Veveverse is released, or the demo is released, I think they're going to start a little pump then, and that's when it's just going to go, you know, I don't think it's going to go crazy. That's my personal opinion on it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But this is coming out in Anaheim, and he basically said that they're going to do an interactive version of this so that people at the thing, Wi-Fi permitting, of course, will be able to see what's going on. He said in the interview that there is, it's built from the ground up. So even though it uses Unity, it's also built from the ground up, but it is interoperable with other engines as well on purpose, so that way the idea is that he wants every NFT to be able to come into the Veveverse if they want. So I think David and Dan have got massive plans for this that we don't even know about, and the way David was talking about this with such passion and commitment, I believe that there is going to be something cool. I just don't think it's going to come out straight away, and I think people are going to get a bit upset with what they do get, because they're going to expect it to be this thing where you can jump from place to place automatically and blah, 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 in this big world where you can automatically talk to your friends next to you or whatever, where in actual fact it's probably just going to be a small extension of the showroom. And Reese has said this many times in interviews. He said that it's going to be like a small extension of the showroom. So I'm just kind of preparing you for that, essentially. And that's just my take on the subject. But as I said, let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, good luck with the drops today. If you haven't got them already, you know, you've probably got most of them already by the time I get this video out, more than likely. Because it was a bit of a rush for me. But thank you very much for joining us. As always, don't take any of this as financial advice or anything like that. And please take that to heart. Don't buy stuff because I've said it or anything like that, because I'm not Kim Kardashian and I can't afford to pay the SEC lots and lots of money because of the fact that they try and sue me. So really, this is not financial advice. It's just all for entertainment. It's just my point of view on what's going on. And yeah, that's it really from me. Thank you very much. As I said, not financial advice. Crypto can go up, it can make you loads of money, it can go down, you can completely lose your shirt. But that is essentially crypto. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.